survive all the toughest streets around the world, man.
Outside, who's on the inside? Rob Bartlett, that's who. You're the man, but all them great moves and all them great holds that you possess.
This is Slam Pigs Podcast.
Thursday night, May the 19th. We're coming a little out of left field on this one, kind of like Buff Bagwell dressed as Ernest Miller for that Road Wild 99 build-up. Yeah. 2 shows in 1 week. Could you ask for any more? It's Slam Pigs Podcast. This is Travis. As always, once again, doubleheader with Michael. How you doing, Mike?
Oh, I'm pumped up for this week. Slam Pigs 11. We missed you guys for a couple weeks, so we tried to make it up to you this week. 2 shows in 1 week.
A lot of catch-up on here.
A lot of catch-up.
Slam Pigs 11.
A little bit of mustard. But,
relish? Sweet relish.
Maybe a little mayonnaise for people that like it. I don't really care for it.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
That's my bag, baby.
That's yucky.
But yeah, hopefully it's not as shitty as WrestleMania 11.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right, well, you want to start this off with Raw this week, get it in the bag, or you want to go right to the news because you got some hot off the press of stuff you want to talk about?
Let's start off with the news this week, baby.
Well, before we do real quick, as always, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. We always respond if we can give feedback on the show. We're the most interactive podcast, we like to think, for pro wrestling on the internet. Leave a comment down in the comment section below on Habiki TMD. Red Hot Press is off the news. Michael, what's going on in the world of wrestling?
Number 1 news topic this week, guys. Probably the biggest reason why I wanted to do the show tonight is this piece of news. Other than Ernest the Cat Miller and Road Wild 99, we're going to go ahead and talk about this week's top story. Seth Rollins is in your top story this week, and you know why. He is ready and set to make his return to live action. Rumor has it he will be making his return on Raw the week of June the 6th. So that's less than 2 weeks away, guys. Or maybe, no, I guess that is about 2.5 weeks.
So it's officially announced by WWE?
That wasn't officially announced by WWE, but it was announced by Dave Meltzer. And you know how reliable Dave Meltzer is.
Old Tuna Meltzer.
Yep, Tuna Meltzer. He knows what's going on. He said Rollins just got finished filming his movie that he was in called Temple. I haven't heard much about it, but...
I didn't even know he was filming a movie.
Evidently he was in that. Whatever it's about, hey, good for you, Seth Rollins. But he's been in the Performance Center the last couple weeks, working in the ring, getting ready. They said he could be in the ring even sooner than that, if need be. But as for right now, he's scheduled to make his return on the week of June the 6th.
Well, that's definitely something that I've been waiting on.
Absolutely.
I didn't know about this. He told me this morning. He shot me a text, and I looked into it a little bit. Supposedly he's a heel, and he's going to come back to a reaction, a good reaction.
Yeah, I don't see how you can bring him back as a heel.
Well, you swerve him. You have him cost somebody that the people love. That's the only way you could do it. Somebody that's over like Clover to everyone.
AJ Styles?
Maybe.
Anybody else?
Depends where you want to place
him. You can't bring him back anywhere other than the main event.
Well, that's something we're going to talk about on Raw in a little while, but I'll sample that right now. AJ Styles is actually, it's mixed a little bit on Raw this week with Roman's getting the fans, well, the women and children more, but I see more and more guys. So
why?
I don't know.
Well, he definitely doesn't have this guy. Just saying, when it comes to Roman or AJ Styles, that's kind of like peaches and cream for me. I don't really care for either one, but if I have to pick one, I'm going with AJ Styles because he's a much better worker. They're both pretty crappy on the microphone, but AJ Styles head and shoulders above him in the ring.
Peaches and Cream, the musical group, or literally Peaches and Cream?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, same difference.
What did Peaches and Cream sing? Maybe you guys can let us know. No, it's good.
Please don't. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off this week with our first question to the fans. How would you book the Seth Rollins return? Let us know down in the comment section below. I know we're going to have some regulars that are going to have us with some good comments on this one. I'm interested to see what you guys have to say, your thoughts. And then I'm going to send it to you, Travis. If you were booking the Seth Rollins return, how would you book it?
Pretty much like I said, like have him cost a baby face. Because if you want to go heel, I wouldn't bring him back as a heel.
Well, no, we're going with how you would book it.
How I would.
Yeah, how you would book it. I want to know in detail.
I'm playing the role of Vince Russo,
yes.
Puppet Master.
I want you to tell me how you would book it in detail, his comeback.
I'd book it like a nice pair of tits. No. I don't know why I said that. Maybe, like we said last time on the last show, we're in a brand new setup here, and we're always going to have an old retro wrestling show on mute in the background on our TV here, and it's Red Wild 99, and there's just all sorts of ridiculousness going. Ernest Miller and Confederate flag.
That's twice you've done that on this show. You realize that? Every time you try to say flag, you say fag.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
He was talking about a cigarette.
Jeez.
But,
I just blew out my own tires on that. Michael, you want to pick it up from here? I need a moment.
Well, I was just asking you how you would book the Seth Rollins return.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
You on board with that?
I would.
He's coming back.
In my opinion, I like to... Man, you got to turn Roman heel. In my world, Roman has to go heel. I know he's getting the fan support, and that's fucking frustrating. Because it's always like when you think the heel turn's coming, just like with Cena it's happened, then you start to know, are these edited in cheers? You never know, because WWE is notorious for doing that. But it would
SmackDown.
be babyface Rollins winning the belt he never lost against a heel Roman Reigns. That's why I'd book it.
Any detail with that on how he's going to make his debut? Is there...
I think Roman will go past AJ Styles. I want to change my prediction for that after doing some thinking. I think it will be Roman after watching Raw this week.
I thought you said Roman was going to win anyway.
No, I thought AJ would win.
Oh, okay.
I thought it would be a swerve. But yeah,
So you think Roman holds on?
I'd build it to a program leading to SummerSlam. Like Rollins has to earn his shot back. So you have some B-level matches for him. B-level guys he's against.
Now,
Like maybe him and an Ambrose for a number one contendership. Maybe Roman could turn by screwing over Dean Ambrose.
Don't forget about John Cena scheduled to make his return here not so long in the future.
Memorial Day. Yippee.
They're saying he could be back as soon as then. So you have these two big stars coming back right around the same time. Do you have them clash heads to get a shot at Roman?
Didn't think that in. Maybe because I want to pretend John Cena's not coming back. But actually that's how you would go. It wouldn't be Ambrose. If anything, Ambrose, well, he's been the IC champion. What? You got to pull the trigger with Ambrose or you don't. He's either got to be in that world title picture because he's in limbo right now. He's in like a Jericho status and he's a young guy, and that's not a good thing for a young guy to have nothing to do. It's okay for a Jericho. I'm all over the place with this.
I'm afraid as far as these comebacks go, you're going to have a lot of these guys that are getting this valuable TV time that are really starting to earn the respect of the fans, like a Dean Ambrose, like a Kevin Owens. I'm afraid that they might get pushed down a little bit and lost in the shuffle because of these returns. But like they say, in the wrestling business, the cream always rises to the top. So whether it's Ambrose, Kevin Owens, Cesaro, all these guys that have a lot of talent and potential, if they want to make it, they're their own worst enemy.
Think about a program in the future with like a heel champion Rollins and a Sami Zayn chasing it.
Yeah,
like a Daniel Bryan. He could be the new Daniel Bryan.
Well, the thing that I always love about Seth Rollins, he can work with anybody almost. That's why I compare him as like.
So could Sami Zayn.
Yeah,
and that's why that match would be awesome.
Rollins is like this day's Shawn Michaels as far as in-ring work. I don't think anybody in the company right now. When Rollins is on his game, I don't think anybody in that company can really touch him.
You know that all-white outfit
Yeah.
was literally, I read an interview, it was a White Ranger tribute. Like the designs and everything from the Power Rangers.
Oh.
So that's neat.
I was a big Power Ranger fan when I was a kid, so I'm all about that. I was a White Ranger fan, actually. He was my favorite Ranger. So,
I was partial to Zach.
Were you?
With Axe, the
Yeah.
Black Ranger.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's your prerogative. As far as the way I would book it with Seth Rollins returning, personally, I wouldn't have him return on Raw. I don't like it. I know that
I don't do it on a Raw.
I know that they like to do these returns on Raw because they're the most watched program the WWE puts out, more than pay-per-view.
It doesn't have the impact.
More than everything else. I guess they try to get the shock factor in there. More people see it. It creates more buzz.
I disagree with it creates more buzz. I think when it happens on a pay-per-view, you have someone who saw it go to someone who didn't see it, and they're like, hey, did you see that? And it's like, no, I didn't. If you all saw it on Raw, there's no buzz about having to see it. You know what I mean?
Or you have people like me that miss some Raws.
True.
And they're like, you totally missed Raw tonight. Rollins came back.
But just the natural feel of having something on an event instead of a TV show.
Especially, I think I understand why they do it, because especially with the ratings the way they are
Well,
on
you
Raw,
know why they do it. Yeah.
they need some kind of boost in ratings, bringing people back and such to make people think, oh, anything could happen on Raw every
Yeah,
week.
because if it happens on the network, they got your money already, so
Yeah.
they're not, you know what I mean? It's like you have to pay extra per month to see a debut.
I would definitely bring Rollins back on the pay-per-view. whether it's Extreme Rules or the following pay-per-view, I would have Rollins be a part of the decision in the main event, whether it's to cost Roman the belt or to cost AJ Styles the belt or to cost whomever the belt.
He could be a neutral guy.
He could actually, I mean, the other thing that you can look at here is maybe he comes back to help Roman Reigns. Because you have the club.
We have talked about the Shield and the club.
You have the club
The
with
Bullet,
AJ Styles.
the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the club.
Could be maybe a return of the Shield, which could also boost Ambrose again. It puts Ambrose in that main event picture. Even though it's a tag team feud, I think with the Shield maybe being a formidable foe for the club, anything could happen there. We just had a big crash here in the background. I think Travis just died. But
Watch on your way out. I broke a light bulb with my head. I really did.
Yeah, I believe
You know what? I'm not editing that out of the show. And I think there's pieces of glass in my head at the second.
Awesome. So
I'm okay. I'm not bleeding, and I got all the glass out. I just have to sweep it up.
all right. Well, I
God, I'm not used to this new setup, and the ceilings are low down here.
totally lost my train of thought. But as far as
Is that
the
promo
Shield,
break?
as far as the Shield and the Bullet Club go,
Concussion break.
I think that would be a match made in heaven. I think that could draw a lot of money if you have, AJ Styles and the club against Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. I think that definitely elevates AJ Styles and the Bullet Club. And it gives them both something to do while setting up maybe a SummerSlam match somewhere. Are you all right, Travis?
I'm good.
All right, just double checking.
The things I do for you guys.
Yeah,
I'm going to carry on the show even though glass just broke on my bare head.
I'm pretty sure they probably heard it. It was pretty loud.
Well,
They thought maybe Stone Cold was making an appearance on the podcast. I don't know. But
I see where you went with that.
yeah.
I like it.
yeah, well,
At least you turned lemons into piss
that's what I like to
with
do.
a bad joke.
That's what I like to do. But as far as that goes, there's a lot of possibilities with Rollins. That's why I'm so excited about it. Hopefully they don't fuck it up, whatever they do.
They will.
Thanks for being so optimistic.
It's not even that. It's not about being. It's going off history. Look what they're. I mean, just right after WrestleMania, now they're starting to maybe turn the
Call it
corner.
WrestleMania with a B.
I said mania.
Oh, you said WrestleMania.
Maybe I'm a little concussed.
Yeah,
I don't
be.
know what's going on.
From
My
that
head
light bulb.
it hurts a little bit.
Okay.
I don't want to make the whole show about my light bulb in my head hitting.
Do you need a little break? Is that what you need?
No, I don't need
Are
a
you
break.
sure?
Let's go ahead and send this home with wrap up what we're talking about.
Well, once again, guys, let
Maybe I'll
us
receive
know.
medical attention.
Ref, get down here. I'm making an X signal. That means-
X signal engaged.
Yep, that means he needs some medical attention.
Charles Robinson is down here. You just threw up the X.
Here comes Chucky.
My girlfriend will be down here soon to help
I
me.
don't want to know where that's going. But anyway, guys, like I said before,
Yowza.
let us know how you would book the Seth Rollins return. Let us know down in the comment section. Hibiki TMD, Slam Pigs Podcast. I think we're ready for our first break before we get into the rest of the news.
All right.
We're going to have our first promo break, and I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to myself.
You go
for this
ahead,
week's
since your train
promo.
of thought's probably more focused.
Yeah, obviously yours is way out of whack. I'm going to go ahead and kick this promo in. Our first promo of the evening for our break is going to be from the legendary Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig.
Good one.
Yeah. When we come back here on the Slam Pigs Podcast.
This is the coach. Hey, Hart, SummerSlam against Mr. Perfect for the WWF Intercontinental Belt. Let me see what you got. Show Mr. Perfect what you got. Let's see it, man.
A lot of history has been made at SummerSlam in the past. Bret the Hitman Hart. The excellence of execution. I will give you that. You know all the right moves, and you know when to do them. If there's anybody that can compete with Mr. Perfect, Hart, I'm going to give it to you. You're the man. But all them great moves and all them great holds that you possess, no matter how great you are, you're close to perfect, Bret Hart. But you're not Mr.
That was the perfect one. Kurt Hennig cutting a Kurt Hennig promo. We're back. I'm feeling better. Received a little medical attention.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Just checking on you.
Threw a Z-Pack on my head and I'm good to go. We're back on the Slam Picks podcast. There's some other news to talk about real quick. The NXT women might be seeing a little facelift here with some additions from TNA. So what's going on with that, Mike?
We have possible rumors of Velvet Sky, Angelina Love, and some others who have finished up their contracts with TNA coming over to WWE, whether it's in NXT or coming straight to the main roster. My guess would be that I would probably choose to put those either Angelina Love or Velvet. I think Velvet Sky was the better worker personally out of that duo. I would bring her straight up to the main roster.
You have her manage the Dudleys since that she's dating Bubba Ray. She could be like the new Stacy Keibler.
I don't have her managing anything. I have her right in the thick of the women's division.
As Velvet Sky, or do you repackage her?
I think she'll have a different name, but
not a porn star name.
Yeah, this is PG era. But I think the women's division is desperately in need for some depth. With Paige being kind of irrelevant right now with her list of injuries that she's been dealing with, and you have Emma now sidelined with her injuries.
Successful surgery, by the way.
Yeah.
It went well.
And you have a lot of the veteran divas haven't really been. I mean, you have Nikki Bella out. Brie Bella's all but retired. I'm pretty sure she should be retired by now. The women's division is really lacking depth, especially you have Naomi who's injured. I mean,
Tamina, who's probably released since they have Nia Jax anyway.
Yeah,
it's just like a Tamina upgrade.
I just think that these women could be sorely used.
Well, they have the diversity. They're just the really good ones are still in NXT.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks is never on television anymore. Becky Lynch is kind of played out at this point. She's kind of just like the punching bag.
Yeah, Becky Lynch is kind of.
Can't cut a promo either, really.
She kind of strikes me like Natalya.
She's
really good worker, not much mic skill.
Natalya's gotten a lot much
charisma. I should say Becky Lynch probably has more charisma than Natalya. But
she's a mush mouth when she talks. I can't understand her half the time.
I don't know
thick Irish accent.
If it's the Irish accent or just the fact that she just not very, very entertaining as far as her mic skills. But I think that Angelina Love and Velvet Sky could really be used well on the main roster. I think maybe they could be like a new faction with one other TNA knockout that they bring up here.
Or you put them with Maurice. Have Maurice be the leader. That just popped in my head.
Yeah, but Maurice wrestling.
Would you use Summer Rae then as the third wheel? Not the leader, but...
Yeah, I think you could put them in there with a lot of people.
Lana.
Maybe that would make sense.
Lana might be the leader who never... She manages them kind of. She never wrestles.
Yeah, Lana can't work.
So they could be a tag team managed by Lana.
Yeah, I mean, but you have all these... You could always put Alicia Fox in there if you really wanted to.
I think it's time to cut bait.
But at least Alicia Fox can work.
Top of my head, 3 women to let cut bait on. Eva Marie, just not going to ever get better. Keep her as a poster girl. Keep her far away from the ring if you're going to keep her.
Not going to happen.
I'm aware of that. It's just, God.
They want Eva Marie. They love her look.
I get that she's a hot girl. She's a very pretty girl. But she's not, to me, she's not like, wow.
Her in-ring ability has come a long way, but she's still, as far as like on a scale of 1 to 10, she's a 3 or a 4.
She's like a -2.
No, she was a -2. She's up to a 3 or a 4.
When I watch her, it's like slow motion.
She's no worse than Sable.
Yeah.
And Sable wore the belt.
But look at the
And she powerbombed men.
Look at the standard of the women around Sable when Sable was hot. There was nobody. But look at the standard around Eva Marie.
Yeah.
It's a different time. That's why I think poster girl or nothing. Alicia Fox also played out. What else can you do with Alicia Fox?
She's not entertaining, and I really have never really found her all that attractive.
I think she's very attractive.
Really?
I just think she's disposable. Just like Rosa Mendez. Goodbye. Bye.
Another girl I never found attractive, Rosa Mendez. I think they both look kind of like trannies. To be honest with you, I think Alicia Fox.
I can see that.
Put that on Twitter. I hope I hurt their feelings, because I think they both look like trannies. I would definitely might want to have maybe some doctors or some ring people check their drawers there and make sure there's nothing hanging.
Nicole Bass syndrome.
Ugh. Yeah.
She was actually a woman.
Yeah. Barely.
Barely. By like 1 chromosome.
All
right, let's pick up the classiness of the show a little bit.
Sorry.
We don't want to drag anybody through the mud like that, but it happens.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell it like I see it. So
I can use my head injury as an excuse, I guess, to get away with that right now. Anyway.
I'm not using any excuses. That's the way I am.
So it's looking like Bailey's going to be down there for a while.
That is our last piece of news this week. Speaking of the women's division, Bailey, your flag bearer in the NXT Women's Division. No time soon is she expected to make it up to the main roster. The reason behind this is basically what I was reading is that there's nobody ready to take her spot as the top babyface in the women's division.
And it's so dumb if you think about it, because it's all WWE.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like this is like a NWA Mid-South or something like that, where they need them. You know, they're always going to have funding. Just cut back on your house shows till you have more talent, maybe. But Bayley needs to be on the main roster. If how we booked it last week or the last show, so you're saying last week, but a couple days ago, the build-up is Sasha and Charlotte SummerSlam. The next night on Raw, you have Bayley debut and come out. On Raw, I know we just covered debuting people on Raw, but sometimes it's great. Jericho in 99. I think that's how I'd have Bayley come out, and then...
Jericho in 99 was great for about 2 minutes.
No, I mean his debut.
Yeah, until the Rock squashed it.
It was all great. It was great.
I think
Still my favorite debut to this day. Jericho 99.
I thought that would have been a lot better if the Rock hadn't squashed it 2 minutes later. I thought the Rock really made him look like nothing.
Yeah. Jericho in the beginning was booked as nothing. He was labeled a WCW guy.
Well, they did this big build-up for his debut, this big Millennium Countdown, and they decided to have it while the Rock's in the middle of a promo.
It couldn't be Hardcore Holly out there or anybody.
Yeah. Couldn't have somebody that he could just tear to shreds on the mic.
Maybe that was a compliment to Jericho at the time, saying, we trust you enough to go out there with this guy who's one of our top guys. So you can take it either way. I think it worked out.
Probably the
obviously.
top guy on the microphone maybe ever in the business.
The Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta be.
That's
He can just do anything, basically.
He could cut a promo on a mop,
Yeah.
basically.
Moppy. Perry Saturn's mop. Remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember Moppy?
Yeah, Moppy.
All the inanimate objects in the Attitude Era. You had a head.
Yeah.
You had a sock. You had Moppy. You had Pepper, Al Snow's little dog the boss man cooked. You had Crash Holly. Wait, he was an actual person.
He's dead.
Oh, yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Hey, I love the Hardcore Champ era. With really Crash Holly.
Smashed up
when they
belt.
went to the little Fun Park USA or whatever.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
But back to the topic here. As far as my feelings on the Bayley thing, I don't think it's a bad thing for Bayley, especially the way the women are dropping like flies with injuries on the main roster. This cuts Bayley's work down. It keeps her fresh down in NXT because they don't work the same kind of schedule as the main roster.
Yeah.
Plus, she's going to get to stay relevant. And my biggest worry, like I've told you before, is that if they bring her up to the main roster, I have a feeling she's just going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
I feel like with those other stars in there, I don't feel like they're going to push her the way that we would like to see it. I think she's going to be relegated to mid-card duty in the women's division.
Because they've really only done that with Charlotte from NXT. That's the only one.
Yeah. I mean, they pushed Sasha and Becky Lynch to an extent, but Charlotte has pretty much been the one that they handpicked to carry it. As far as Bayley goes, I think she could maybe get a title run when she first comes in, and then I see them kind of fading her out into mid-card crap.
Well,
Which would suck for Bayley because, like you said, she's the John Cena of NXT.
no, the women.
Of the women.
Of all the women.
But I think she's the John Cena of NXT, period, whether it's men or women.
No, that would be Finn Balor probably right now. He's really popular.
I've heard some pops for Bayley, and I've never heard a woman get cheered like that.
I don't know, man.
Ever.
Oh, no, I agree with that. But, I mean, compared to Balor's pops sometimes, that's an exciting call-up.
Balor's another one that I'm scared of. I'm scared of the same thing for Balor.
I think they're smart enough with Balor to do the right thing. I think this guy has money all over him. He looks like a star.
There's so much young talent up there right now.
And they love that.
I think if you bring Balor up right this second, I feel like you're just flooding everybody with so many new guys.
I totally disagree. I think with all the new guys like your Owens, your Sami Zayns, I think that's like the layers of a sundae. And I think for right now, Finn Balor's going to be that cherry on top, and that's going to put it all together. Then they'll develop the next pack of new guys in NXT. So these guys up here now, freshmen, can take. You know where I'm going with this? Like, is that making sense?
I think if I was going to book Finn Balor's debut, I would. I know this, you might not like this just because of the time. I would wait. I would wait actually until WrestleMania season.
Are you talking Undertaker?
Uh-huh.
I had a feeling.
That's how I would book it. I would have Finn Balor make his debut Maybe The Undertaker coming out to say his goodbyes, saying he's not going to make WrestleMania, and bam, Finn Balor comes out.
It depends how you would want your Finn Balor to be seasoned. Would you like him with a little heel pepper or a little lemon zest babyface?
And I would have Finn Balor go over at WrestleMania.
Well,
Over
yeah.
The Undertaker. And
Yeah,
that's saying a
absolutely.
lot. I mean, only one
Is it
person's
saying-
ever beat him.
Is it saying a lot, though, with this version of Taker, old man Taker, though? Because
Only
he's
one
kind of
person.
been a punching bag.
Only one person's ever beat him at WrestleMania. You can say what you want about
Yeah,
how he looks in
yeah.
the ring, but to beat him at WrestleMania is a huge honor. So
Well, how much of that is running on fumes since he lost to Brock? You think that's as big of an honor? You think that's
that was
even
his
relevant?
idea to lose to Brock.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They think that was management's call.
That
no?
was The Undertaker's decision.
He was kind of pushed into it. He didn't.
He still had the power of veto. He could have said, no, I'm not losing to him, and Vince would have been like, okay.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's maybe the one person besides Shawn Michaels that could tell Vince, "Hey, I'm not doing that," and get away with it.
Well,
But,
you want to get to the Raw review real quick since it wasn't.
well, I'm still, I'm
Okay,
still. Since we're on the topic, another one. I think the one that should be called up before anybody, just because of situation and the way he would fit in with the roster right now, Samoa Joe.
So, I knew you were going to say Samoa Joe. Veteran.
Samoa Joe.
Whether they think
Yep.
that he is or not, he's a pure veteran. Like,
Absolutely. And he could get in there and work any angle with anybody.
he's doing the best work right now because I've been watching NXT that I've seen him do since like 05, 06 when
Yeah.
he had that three-way with Daniels and Styles.
Well,
I think
he's
I've
in
talked-
really good shape again for him. If you look at his physique right now, he's actually trimmed down for him.
Oh yeah, well they make them go to
Yeah.
the gym every day.
But
But
you
look
can-
at Kevin Owens
Yeah.
though. What's going on there?
But you can see the difference in his work. I mean, not that he was a terrible worker to begin with, but it made his level come up even more.
You can see that he cares now.
Yeah.
He's in a company where he knows he'll get paid on time, for one. Number two, people are actually going to watch the fucking show, so it matters to him.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's how he's gonna be remembered.
You know that him and Styles are kicking themselves for not coming sooner. But at the same time, if they would have come sooner, they wouldn't be getting the opportunity.
No,
at all.
I think they timed this very well.
The stars and the
why
moons
did Styles
align.
Why did Styles get to go straight to the main roster, and why did Joe have to go to NXT? I think you just put that to look. I think AJ Styles has a better look.
Popularity.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about everybody. I was more of a Samoa Joe fan than AJ Styles. Fan.
Well, let's just say mainstream, because I've literally been in Walmart around here. Maybe it was Hagerstown.
yeah.
I've seen a kid in there with AJ Styles gloves a couple years ago when he was still in TNA. So
I just know when you and I went to a show, we definitely popped more for Samoa Joe
Oh, yeah.
than we did for AJ Styles when they were in Hagerstown.
yeah.
So
But now Styles reinvented himself. He's a different AJ Styles. Back then he was like, was he playing the protege of Flair?
yeah,
When
I
we
thought
saw
that
him?
was a terrible angle. But I always I don't remember him for that in the main event Mafia crap. I remember him
Ugh.
before that when he was the phenomenal
He was
AJ
the X
Styles.
Division
Yeah.
Styles. Like,
And, I remember him as that. The short hair, the pretty look, but God, he could do anything you wanted in the ring.
yeah.
But
He made a feud with Jeff Jarrett seem interesting.
But I think Samoa Joe made more of a wow factor with me because of his look. Like
More
look at
believability.
look at this tubby fat guy in there. Oh my God! Did you
Remember-
see what that tubby fat guy did?
Remember in TNA when he debuted?
Yeah.
He was like the hottest thing in wrestling.
Yeah.
When TNA was actually relevant.
Oh my! He had that undefeated streak forever.
Yeah.
And I just the
He
wow
fought
factor.
Liger. He fought all these Sabu. He fought in a cage, I believe.
Yep. And I mean, it's just the wow factor has always been there for AJ Styles because of the things he can do in the ring. But I always felt like the wow factor for Samoa Joe was bigger because of his look. You didn't expect Samoa Joe to do the things he was doing in that ring by looking at him.
Oh yeah.
You looked at him as like, oh, there's a fat jobber.
No.
But then he gets in the ring and he's flawless.
And that's what we're seeing with Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
Same thing.
I just,
And I think it's a lot easier to brush off Kevin Owens. I think Joe has a better look than Owens, honestly. Joe looks more like a wrestler than Kevin Owens. Owens looks like a guy, your neighbor, your pissed off neighbor who literally said, I can do that, and put on his best pair of gym
who
shorts.
just came home from Wendy's working a shift. Fucking,
Driving a forklift.
yeah. I mean, it's just
But he pulls it off. He's, man.
another one that
He's their best heel right now on the main roster, Kevin Owens. No one else is even
Yeah, they don't
close.
really have a pure heel that's really over right now besides him.
Even a veteran like Jericho.
Yeah. Jericho's just a...
I think it's time. I think it's time for Y2J to just maybe focus on Fozzy. Sing your little metal songs.
I think it's way past that because I don't think Fozzie's a real big thing anymore. They've always been like the open up act for somebody big.
Better than I thought they would ever do.
Have you ever heard a Fozzy song on the radio?
I've heard albums of Fozzy.
On the radio?
Not on the radio. Never
you ever heard a Fozzy song
I've
on the
never
radio?
heard Fozzy played on the air.
Exactly.
Not even AM.
So that's how big they are, or they will ever be.
Well, I mean, with the internet, you can't go strictly on that. You know what I mean? They're still on the charts.
I go by success on what I hear.
Yeah.
On the radio. On a national rock station.
Either way,
They're a
they're
rock
not,
band. I don't ever hear them.
they're not that good.
No. But off topic there.
Lion
but
salts are better than air guitar.
the next one I want to go over, like we've already talked about. I'm going to reiterate Shinsuke Nakamura.
Are we in D push right now? Did we just migrate into that?
I feel like we have.
All right. Well, let's
Okay,
just.
first one. Let's go down the line. We're going to go down the line.
Well, wait,
first
let
one.
me kick it in because I threw
Okay.
something together a little bit. This is push or D push. Michael, one each this week. Who do you got at the top of your push or D push?
Ooh, we're only doing one.
I thought
I
that's
want
what
to
we
go
did.
down a bunch of guys on the
Well, if we
next
do it at
team.
that rate, we're gonna run out by like week 2. That's like
Oh,
10
no.
guys in 2 weeks.
No, we got. Hey, there's Sid. Sorry, back on this road.
Push
Wow.
or D push? Sid Justice. Do you have him win the 92 Rumble? Let's do a fantasy one. Would you have Sid win that Rumble? Who would you have put against Randy Savage at WrestleMania? It was supposed to be Flair and Hogan.
It was supposed to be Flair and Hogan. To win the 92 Rumble. Oof.
You remember it was Sid, like he tossed out Hogan from behind. I don't know where the hell this segment's going, by the way.
Yeah, I don't either. You just kind of threw a fucking big old U-turn on that one.
I wouldn't have had him win it either. Let's wrap that up.
So Flair won.
Shout out to Sid Justice. The
Shout
worst
out
of the
Sid.
Sid gimmicks, but what a
You
chin.
didn't like Sid Justice?
I did not like Justice when it was served by Sid.
Hmm.
I liked when he was vicious. Or a little psycho.
A little psycho.
I like my Sid psycho.
All right.
As I'm sure you guys do on Hibiki TMD. Like, comment, subscribe. Michael, push or D push? Week number 2 of it. Who you got on tap?
First one I'm going with, and I'm basing this off of call up. Do you push or D-push Samoa Joe? When you bring him up, do you push him?
If it's evening where you're at, I want you to go outside. I want you to look up to the little heavens and find the moon. And see where that moon's at? Samoa Joe's going to be pushed past that moon in my world. Because Samoa Joe needs to be pushed as a top heel. It's time. Michael, do you agree?
I think I agree to an extent. I don't know if I would book him as a face or a heel. It depends on the time in which he debuts and who you're planning on putting him with. I think he could be successful either way. I find it hard to debut him as a heel just because it's Samoa Joe and people are going to want to cheer for him.
But also, I think the best baby faces have always started as heels.
Yeah, but it's so hard for Joe to be a heel. Even in NXT, is he really getting booed that much?
It depends who he swerves. It depends what the angle is. You can make anyone a heel. It's possible. It really is.
I never thought a heel gimmick worked for him in TNA. I don't think it's working in NXT. I see him more as that badass babyface.
If you can take Steve Austin at the height of his popularity, and whether it worked out in the end or not, they did turn him heel, and his popularity went way down because they changed his character. It is possible. Not saying it worked out in the long run. That was just an example of it is possible with anyone.
Another big factor for me is who can he work with that's going to make him get booed like that?
Oh, there's so many guys he could work with. He could work with an Owens. It depends what city they're in, too. If they're in a smart city like Chicago, Brooklyn, Kevin Owens gets Steve Austin levels of pop sometimes anymore. Look at his pop at WrestleMania. Yes, you can say he opened the show, but he really didn't because there were 2 kickoff matches.
I think the only one I could really see him being a heel with would probably be Sami Zayn.
No. You could do it with Styles.
You think so?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
I think it's been done, obviously, with those two.
Styles appeals to not only people like us, but he could appeal to younger fans like a Jeff Hardy with merchandise, stuff like that.
Yeah, he has kind of a
Maybe-
generic look.
maybe-
That's the only thing that kills him with the kids, I think.
Trim the soccer mom hair a little bit.
Yeah, the bob
Just a little
haircut
bit.
probably needs to go,
A
but
few inches.
his look in general is just kind of generic. I think it's almost too generic for kids to really get on board.
Which is another point, like the whole basis of Push or D Push. Back in like we said, we're watching Road Wild in the background. That era, people they were stars. They looked like stars. Now they're in a situation because for so many years they didn't bother to make new stars. They're stuck with like these quote unquote average looking guys who they don't have a choice. They just have to make it work. Sometimes they're blessed with a Cena and Orton. A Cesaro, you could say, has it. I think he has the it factor. Just maybe pick up the
I think
mic
he's
skills a little bit.
I think he's definitely come into his own.
He's Swiss. He doesn't connect. Bullshit. You're not making him connect.
Well, I think Cesaro is finally starting to figure it out. Hey, if they won't give me something that I can really do something with, I'll do it myself.
I think the best way to in your heads, I want you to take any current guy, with the exception of the people I said that have it, like, you know what I mean. But there's a lot more guys that don't have that star factor, and put them in the world in the Attitude Era or in like the early '90s. Picture them there, and if you think they would click and mesh well, like Samoa Joe would have fit in, I think. And AJ Styles, it's going to take some work. He might have been a cruiserweight champion. It was also a different era, but stars are stars. Era doesn't matter the era. You could take an old tape and watch a Flair from the early '80s, and it's still comparable to today in some aspects of it. Because at the end of the day, it's pro wrestling.
I think Flair fit into the Attitude Era just by his prestige.
Well,
I
yeah.
think if you debut Ric Flair in that era, I think he gets lost in the
Ric
shuffle.
Flair gets a pass because that's a guy that could. He's even right now. He's getting reactions.
Yeah.
He's just timeless.
He's a legend.
Yeah. If Hulk
had
Hogan
already-
wasn't a racist fuck, he'd be the same thing. But we're not supposed to mention Hulk Hogan.
He still would get that. I mean, even if you brought him back tomorrow, the fans are still going to cheer.
Yeah.
It's Hulk Hogan. So, I mean, he could say that he hates America and he'd probably still get cheered.
I don't know.
It's
I don't know, man. I think it's more of a crime to be caught saying racist things than saying I hate America or whatever. In
Really?
this day and age, I really do. Because people aren't very fond of our government. Look what we have going on. Trump and Hillary. Really. But that's a whole other show.
I just watched some lady on this video smack Sid right on the ass.
God knows that's what I would do. It's Sid.
That's really gross.
Well,
In case you guys were wondering, once again, we still have this Road Wild pay-per-view on in the background. Right now we're watching Sting versus Sid.
no Charles Robinson. He's taking a break. He's
Yeah.
reffed like 3 of the 5 matches so far.
Yeah.
Iron Man Charles Robinson, who is still relevant today.
Yeah. In main event angles.
But what about me? What about Raven? It's my turn on the Push or D Push.
All right, who you got?
How many are we doing?
I would like to do more than one, but
Well, we'll see what
let's do two.
2 each.
Two apiece.
Sounds good.
You're first.
Push or the push? And we got to make sure, guys, we've never covered before. Okay. My question for you is where we're going with this. I may be concussed. I'm not sure from the light
Okay.
bulb incident. So, the club, the sandwich crew. Push these guys. I'll give you a tag team. What do you do with the Bullet Club? Carl Anderson, Doc Gallows. Leave.
I would push the shit out of them personally. Do I think WWE is doing a good job with them right now? No. I think they're putting them in the background
And they're losing.
because I feel like they have no idea what to do with these guys, which is so stupid. I feel like you could put these guys. That's another problem. I feel like they flooded the tag team division with all these new teams at once.
And they're like, what do I do?
What do I do with all
They're
of them?
like a rich kid on Christmas got
Yeah.
all these toys.
What do I play with first?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It just like you're gonna have Enzo and Cass come up. You're gonna have the
Well, that kind of-
Vaudevillains come up, and you're gonna debut these guys as well. It's like, okay, like how many new tag teams do we need to put in at once? And now they just put in, the 2 Puerto Rican guys again.
Oh, that was awful. Did you see? You didn't see that?
No,
That was the squirty, runny shits.
I'm sure it was.
Oh my god.
They did all those fucking vignettes.
It gets worse. They each cut promos on the way to the ring. The Matadors. And they had little flowers. And they were wearing fucking Hawaiian shirts.
Probably got booed out of the building.
No, they got no reaction.
None.
Because they don't deserve the reaction. The way that was booked, oh, that was awful. I doubt that team's...
It's another like spit in the face to smart fans. Like we know who these guys are. Quit trying to repackage these guys as some big thing when you've already fucked them.
Also, you claim budget cuts. Why are they employed still? I don't want to see anyone lose their job unless they deserve it.
I want to know who's picking who gets these vignettes and these big pushes.
There's so many writers backstage. That's the problem.
Tell me what in your right mind would say, oh, let's give Primo and Epico a big push as a new gimmick.
That must have been some good LSD, I would
Is
say.
Pat Patterson still there?
I don't believe so.
Did he get it sucked?
Didn't get it sucked.
Yeah. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Pat Patterson used to get his way by making stars do some things on their knees.
You want to go there? No. Let's not go to the Pat Patterson.
But I'm just wondering who's booking this crap as far as this tag team goes. Like, this would be the last team that I'd be like, oh, let's repackage them and make them a big deal. Let's give them a bunch of vignettes and really give them a big push.
And to top it off, their name, the Shining Stars. And they did a finisher. Their finisher was, do you remember the Eliminators from ECW? Speaking of Perry Saturn and Cronus.
Okay.
Do you remember their finish where one did a spin kick, the other swept the legs?
Yeah.
That's what it was. You know what their finish was called? Here comes the originality, the Shining Star.
Oh.
The Shining Stars with the Shining Star. The Hitman hit a man. You know what I mean? Like, wow.
Yeah.
Is this supposed to be a fucking joke?
Yeah, I
They
guess.
wrestled jobbers. They wrestled like local talent too.
Sweet.
So I'm glad that's out of the way, so I don't have to bring up my fucking anger on the Raw review.
But back to my point with
Awful.
Gallows and Anderson, this is the problem. You're packaging so many people at one time because you're in this panic mode of, oh my God, we're so deprived of talent right now. We have to bring all these guys up at once.
I'm hungry. Give me the whole fucking bag.
So then, personally, I feel like this is the best tag team that they brought up out of all of them, including Enzo and Cass. Even though Enzo and Cass are flooded with charisma, I feel like in-ring talent, Gallows and Anderson take the cake.
Oh yeah.
I just
Give them a mic, by the way.
Yeah,
Not just like backstage. Like give them some time.
let them talk.
You let the Matadors talk for 30 fucking goddamn seconds, basically.
But
on
my
the way down.
the biggest problem with letting them talk is they are not PG era guys as far as their characters. Their
But
characters.
it's the new era.
Yeah.
Like the baseball hats.
Yeah, it just I think they're kind of hampered because they can't really speak their mind because of the PG era. Especially when you look at Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson to me.
Here we go.
I'm sorry, I'm a Carl Anderson fan. He screams badass to me. Like, I know his stature is not huge. I know that, you know, as far as that goes, you may not think of him in that light. But I look at him, as far as his look and the way he carries himself, like, this dude's badass.
There's a guy in NXT who is an ROH guy named Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know if you've seen that guy. He looks just like Carl Anderson, and he's really good too. They look like twins.
I just think Carl Anderson could really be the mouthpiece of that team if he was used correctly, and I feel like they're not doing that. But as far as I would go, I would push the shit out of them. I would have them win the belts. I would have them take the belts off the New Day clean.
Yeah. As heels.
As heels. I would have them take it off the New Day clean and continuously beat the New Day. Now, maybe the New Day comes back at a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania and gets a rematch, you know. Maybe it forces the New Day to look at things a little more seriously. You know, maybe it makes them more appealing.
Yeah, it's like with the plethora of teams they've had to play around with, they got one team insanely over. The New Day are like Roddy Piper levels. They don't need a belt right now.
And I felt like they gave that the least amount of thought or time put into that. The New Day. I thought that was meant to come over as like gimmicky crap.
Well, they were meant to be babyface. Remember they had a choir vignettes?
Yeah, but I thought that I don't think they meant for them to come over as, oh my God, they're going to get cheered out of the building.
No, they were just slopped together. Let's give them a vignette.
Yeah, let's give them something to do.
That'll
You
shut
put
them up.
3 guys together that you didn't know what to do with them.
I'm tired of these black guys pounding my office door. Give them something to do.
Yeah,
Throw a vignette together.
Yeah,
Call
it's-
Kevin Dunn.
That's my Vince.
And I think the New Day really took the ball and ran with it. They listened to the crowd. They realized, hey, they're booing the shit out of us. So let's play into that.
Have you seen Xavier Woods' game channel with all the wrestlers playing video games?
I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Madden tournaments and Mortal Kombat tournaments.
I feel like Big E is the breakout star of the group.
He's the best on the mic by far.
Because he finally got a chance to talk and be like funny.
Speaking
You know what I mean?
of another horrible segment on Raw, we'll talk about the New Day segment. Oh, it had a time machine. Not joking. The New Day Lorian is what it was called.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Good. So I would push the Bullet Club too. I would book them exactly what you just said. I totally agree on that. So that was easy. Close the book on
Yep. My next one for you.
Number 2, baby 2.
Number 2.
Push or de-push, Mike.
Heath Slater. Slater Gator.
No.
Bring him back.
Remember that?
Just what we need, another tag team.
Remember Slater Gator?
Yes, it's
Ugh.
awful. What did that last, a month?
2 weeks, maybe. The main event Mafia, literally. Or main event every week.
Shinsuke Nakamura. Push, de-push on the main roster.
I think this week I'm going 2 for 2 on push to the fucking moon.
Really?
Yeah. You don't push Nakamura's?
In on the main roster.
In my world, yeah, I do.
Now, if
I
you're
don't
going to push it,
stereotype Japanese wrestlers anymore.
give
in
me
my
a scenario how you could push.
I don't know. Give me a second.
Sorry, you're saying you push him. I just want to know your reasoning behind that. If
You know, with Nakamura, I'm gonna maybe cop out a little bit on that. I'll debut him in the Rumble next year. Out of nowhere, no advertising, nothing. Oh, it's Nakamura. Then the next night on Raw, let's say in the first program I put Nakamura with on the main roster, even though we just kind of were like, about him, Jericho. Because great matches, obviously.
So you're basically going to copy the AJ Styles thing.
Maybe. But what other veteran do you have like that sticks around long enough to elevate a guy? I think, or maybe a Cena. But that worries me because do you bury Nakamura right away? Because
I just don't. I don't see how you get Nakamura over against a guy like Cena. You just look at the
depends
two.
how you want to book him. Also, like every.
You just look at the two in the ring. Do you really believe that Nakamura could beat John Cena in an actual
Yes,
fight?
I do. Nakamura is like a legit MMA guy in Japan.
He's also 150 pounds.
So John Cena's a roided up penisless man.
John Cena on the street gets a hold of that guy. He's fucked.
Can Cena actually fight? He has no background in actual
I'm just
fighting.
saying, believability is my biggest thing with Nakamura.
And Nakamura, I believe, has believability based on, for one, how his name is Strong Style. You know what I mean? Like
He's stiff. Congratulations.
I'm stiff.
Ew. I'm just saying, just because you're stiff in the ring doesn't make you, like, believable to me.
I'm stiff seeing this Rick Steiner on Broad Wild 99
My biggest problem with this...
with no earmuffs.
My biggest problem with this is maybe I'm kind of sounding like Vince McMahon here, but he doesn't look like a main eventer. He really doesn't. You look at him, he's built like you and I, except a lot smaller.
But then I go, oh, Mankind. He never looked like a star.
Yeah, but at least he had size. He was fat,
He was fat.
but he was also
Nakamura's tall. He's
but
like
he was
6'4".
also, he was also 6'4", 300 pounds.
Okay.
He was formidable against a giant like the Undertaker.
Is this based on size?
That's what I just said.
Okay.
I said I'm kind of in the Vince McMahon.
Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio, Daniel Bryan,
Yeah, but at least they all look like they went to a
Chris
gym.
Jericho.
They all look like they at least went to a gym.
Earthquake never looked like he went
He
to
was
a
also
gym.
6'3" and 400 pounds. Shinsuke Nakamura looks like a guy that
Sami Zayn?
Sami Zayn looks like he's been to a gym.
No, he doesn't.
Yes,
He does not.
He has 6-pack abs. He
Ooh.
has a nicely built
He
chest.
shaved off his little red happy trail, which is gross.
He's actually in shape. Shinsuke Nakamura.
Shinsuke Nakamura's in shape. I'm gonna.
Round
you know
is
what?
the shape, I guess.
I'm gonna bring up a picture of Nakamura, and right now, not like 3 years ago.
I just saw him.
I just saw him on NXT last night.
He's got bitch tits.
Why you gotta say that?
I'm just. You know what I'm talking about.
Man,
Quit trying to defend it and just admit he does not look like a main event talent.
I'm distracted by that jacket of Rick Steiner with the hood ornaments on it.
This might be one where we need your guys' feedback.
There
Tell
we go,
us.
because we're not going to agree on this.
Tell us what you think of Shinsuke Nakamura, those NXT fans out there. What would you do with Shinsuke Nakamura on the main roster? Do you really think that he could be a main eventer with his look? Let us know. Down in the comments section below. We know AMV Dark Angel, you're going to be there. Frost, let us know. Mary, let us know. Everybody out there, let us know.
If you want more videos, you vote Nakamura. You go my way.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we're
Here
going to
we
do
go.
some blackmail. No,
Yeah.
never.
You let us know, because we're going to be in a stalemate on this one. I'm not budging.
Hey, it happens, and that's what's great about
That's why
this.
I asked the question, because I knew this was going to be a conflict between him and I like having that on the show. I think it makes it entertaining, get both sides on somebody.
Yeah, because if every segment went, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. You
well,
know.
I'm tuning out.
Yeah.
So
Shinsuke Nakamura, love his in-ring work, hate his look. I think he would never be a main event talent on the main roster. That's just my opinion. Travis differs on that.
I got one more up my sleeve.
Travis sees him as a champ, evidently.
I've got one more push or D push, then we're going to move on to the abysmal Raw that was Monday. And then we have one question this week on the Spur of the Moment show. So we fit one in there. Thank you, Mary Hatcher on YouTube for your question this week. You want to go ahead and knock that out real quick? Wait, I get one more D push. All over the place again, sorry. When he returns from his injury, Neville. You push that guy, what do you do with Neville? He's a guy that's, talk about overlooked young talent. I don't think the cape did him any favors. I don't think being a purple cape on top of it did any favors. I don't know, man.
D push.
You D push.
D push.
Where do you push him to?
He's 5'8". He's 160 pounds. He can't talk. He looks weird.
I loved you. Always have.
Yeah. he's got a weird looking face.
Man, he
I don't
can
see
work,
how.
though.
Yeah, he's a hell of a worker. But I don't think he needs a push.
He's a flippy guy.
You put him in there on the
Hey,
mid.
the fucking flippy guy. How you doing?
You put him in there on the mid card. Maybe go for a U.S. title. I don't ever see him above that.
I think he's gone for that against Cena. Remember?
I just don't ever see him above that. Maybe you could put him in a nice tag team with a bigger guy that could get him a tag belt. But besides that, I don't see him being a main event talent.
I don't either. I think he's a IC guy.
Yeah.
Winning the IC belt, maybe once or twice.
I think he's a good person to add depth to your roster.
I think he's a guy that's not going to stick around for very long. I think he's going to be let go in like the next 2 or 3 years. Honestly.
Well, I don't know about that. I think he
goes back to Japan.
He has a lot of talent. I just don't see him main eventing in WWE. I think he's another guy that could put almost anybody over, and he's going to get his stuff in. The match is going to be almost flawless. He's a hell of an in-ring talent. His look and his size, it just is going to hamper him, and his lack of charisma.
You know why he wears the the Kurt Angle mouth guard, right?
You
know who knocked his teeth out on NXT? Brodus Clay.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell just by the way his mouth is that he's missing some teeth, but he's got a huge chin for one.
Well, he looks like he's from The Hobbit.
Yeah, his hair, all of that, the receding hairline,
he
long
looks
hair.
outdated and greasy.
Yeah, to me, his look and stuff just screams crap.
If this were 97, hell yeah. Put him in WCW. There you go.
Be a cruiserweight champ.
Be a cruiserweight guy.
Yeah,
against Lash LaRue. Do you remember Lash LaRue?
Oh, that's so,
you do. Admit it.
I do.
He had little L's on his
It's
sideburns for
awful.
Lash.
Yeah, it was awful. But as far as Neville goes, D-push, leave him in the mid-card. That's where I like him. I don't think he ever draws any kind of money as a main eventer.
It's so much different today, and I think this is the trickiest part of push segments and just do you stay or do you go? Nowadays, these guys that come from Japan to NXT, they're turning down a lot more money in Japan to come over here.
Yeah.
Nakamura was making millions in Japan, along with Styles. Do you think they're making that now? I don't. Maybe Styles will get back there, but no one in NXT makes $1 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus to be away from his country. And Neville will definitely make more money in Japan because Japan needs more talent now because Nakamura and AJ Styles are gone.
Maybe they're not here for the money. They're here for the exposure.
I hope Ryback doesn't go to Japan because I love New Japan Pro Wrestling. And God,
I think Ryback could be a star there.
Ugh. I'm gonna go puke.
He's gonna puke.
I think Ryback could be a star there, especially with the way his in-ring work has come up. He's not going to have any choice but to be good in the ring in Japan. So maybe he goes to Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor.
I definitely won't see him there.
I'm afraid if he goes to like a place like Ring of Honor, he's going to get lost. I don't think they're going to book him well.
No, I think they would book him to the top, and I think it would make Ring of Honor shitty.
That's what I'm saying. They wouldn't book him well. I don't think he should be just brought in and pushed right to the top. But
Del Rio was when he went to Ring of Honor.
yeah, well, Del Rio is a different caliber talent in the ring.
Well, that's Push or D-Push this week, Michael.
I think we're ready for our next promo break.
And who's got the handle? Me.
You do.
This week, for my promo break, I'm bringing it to a lovable loser. One of my favorite, worst promos of all time. Let's take you back, since we're going to have our buddy AMV Dark Angel Lee, to jolly old England.
Oh.
SummerSlam 1992, mate.
Oh.
There was a match with a large man wearing all orange. And he had an opponent. You know what that opponent's name was?
Virgil.
Virgil.
I love what
You love how I did this?
I love what you did there.
On the Slam Pigs podcast.
When we come back, sorry it wasn't Davey Boy.
Joining me now is Virgil, who is getting set to step into the ring with unquestionably the cruelest man we have ever seen in the WWF, the ex-convict Nails.
Nails, I seen what you did to my friend the Big Boss, man. You handcuffed him behind his back, and you beat him like a dog, man. Well, I survived all the toughest streets around the world, man, and the biggest street I'm gonna survive is right out here at Wembley Stadium, because you got to want it, man! And Nails, my saying is, do unto you before you ever can do unto me, because I'm like all the good people here in London and all the good people around the world, man. I am definitely too legit to quit. Let the games begin.
And that was the mighty Virgil before he was squashed by Nails at SummerSlam 92. Michael, thoughts on SummerSlam 92 real quick. Great pay-per-view.
I thought it was one of the best pay-per-views of 92, if not the best.
In my top 3 SummerSlams.
I think 92 as a whole,
For the
pay-per-views-
spectacle.
The pay-per-views, aside from WrestleMania, I thought were quite nice. Even WrestleMania I thought was underrated for what it was.
In 92?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love WrestleMania 8. Had a lot of good moments.
I mean, the matches, some of the matches maybe not living up to the hype. Like the Savage Flair match, I thought was kind of boring. Alongside the Hogan-Sid match, the other main event of that, I thought they were both kind of boring. But the other matches on that WrestleMania card, I thought really brought it up. You had a really good Intercontinental match there with Brett and Roddy.
You had Taker and Jake.
You had Taker and Jake.
Quick little match.
Yeah, you had Shawn Michaels and Tito Santana,
That was a really good match.
which was actually a really good match.
El Matador.
Yeah.
Pink boots.
Was Shawn the Intercontinental? No.
No, he was-
that was
Right
that was,
after he threw Jannetty through the barbershop.
This was I think that was his match to get his Intercontinental shot, or in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And plus, you had Rumble '92 where Flair wins the belt.
One of the best Rumbles.
And
Star-studded.
Yeah, like you said.
Maybe we'll
SummerSlam.
review some Rumble 92 match one time. We'll get that one in.
Yeah.
It's a good one. We'll go entrant by entrant.
Oof.
That-
We're gonna have to do a whole episode on that.
Maybe, you know what, around Rumble time next year,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Yeah,
Each
we'll have-
week, building up to the Rumble like we did with WrestleMania. But that's then, this is now. We have one little question this week from Mary Hatcher, like I said, on YouTube. Thank you, Mary, for your question. Guys, like we said, we're the most interactive pro wrestling show on YouTube at the moment. Let us know your questions if you got them. We're always willing and able to, ready, willing, and Gable to answer Chad Gable.
Okay.
Got it.
I thought you were gonna pull a Sheiky baby. Don Gable.
I break your fucking ass.
Don Gable. Sorry, I get excited.
He just kept saying it like
Yep.
20 times.
Yep.
And then he blanked out.
The Iron Sheik for you.
And then he cussed out Hogan, probably.
But he cussed out somebody.
Our question from Mary this week is, who, in our opinion, is the greatest NXT champion of all time so far? Is it Bo Dallas? Michael, your opinion. No. Good.
No, it wasn't Bo Dallas. Greatest NXT champion of all time. Whew. Yikes. You guys don't make it easy on us, I tell you that. I didn't have much time to think about this either. Do you have something that you're ready to say?
Oh, I got it.
Okay,
All right.
well you should probably go first, because I gotta think.
In my opinion, so far, the best NXT champion has been Finn Balor, with Kevin Owens as a close second. For number one, he's the longest reigning champion. He's carried that company, basically. He's one of the top merchandise sellers. I just thought he carries the belt well. Great feud with Joe going on, even though he's not the NXT champion anymore. I have a feeling you're going to say Kevin Owens on this. Kevin Owens was a great champion too. Michael, the greatest NXT champion of all time. Shucks.
Eesh.
Oh, fucky ducks.
Ugh.
Pickle dick.
Now, when we're saying greatest NXT champion of all time, are we going off of like longevity, how they're going to go over on the main roster or how they've already gone over.
No, I just think the overall package from just in NXT when they were the champion.
I'm sorry, I like the very first NXT champion,
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins.
I didn't catch a lot of Rollins in NXT.
Since we're on a Seth Rollins kick tonight, I'm definitely going with Seth Rollins. You think about all the guys that were in there back then. You had the whole Shield in there back then. You had so many guys that are on the main roster right now that were in NXT back then.
Roman Reigns' name in NXT or FCW was Leaky.
Yeah.
Did you see that
Yeah.
before? Leia Key.
Yeah.
Leaky.
It was stupid. But
In undies.
Seth Rollins, I thought he really... Now, a lot of people might disagree because of fanfare and all that, but you got to remember, he was the first NXT champion. NXT wasn't that popular.
No.
This is when they finally started transitioning to that, and Rollins helped bring it there.
This was baby steps.
Yeah, he paved the road for guys like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, guys that really... Could you imagine if Finn Balor and Sami Zayn, those guys, were champions in FCW when it was crap?
Yeah, probably wouldn't have gone over like
Yeah.
it does now.
Who else would you put the belt on to be your first NXT champion when you're making that transition into a different kind of show?
Alex Riley. No, kidding. I don't know. Probably nobody. Leaky.
So that's why I pick Seth Rollins, because I think he helped transition NXT into a more mainstream, watchable show.
It's a good pick.
You look at their champion and you're like, holy shit, this guy's awesome. And now you see it. It's a trend. Since Seth Rollins, almost everybody they put the belt on.
Well, Big E was the champion, wasn't he, in NXT? Didn't he debut as NXT champion? When he was with AJ Lee and Dolph Ziggler?
I might have missed that. But
Still, he wouldn't be the...
Yeah. I'm just saying, I think Seth Rollins, as far as what an NXT champion should be, I think he paved the way for all those guys. If Seth Rollins wasn't the first NXT champion, I don't think there would have been a Finn Balor holding the belt.
True.
I don't think there would have been
He
a
was
Kevin
like
Owens.
the first Ring of Honor type guy since your Daniel Bryan's and your
Yeah.
CM Punks to get a shot.
I think
like.
he really paved the way for the NXT championship to be held by somebody that deserves it, rather than just another muscle-bound guy that gets a push.
What the hell was that one guy's name that looked just like Batista? Mason Ryan. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's when they were pushing guys like that
Yeah.
in FCW.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Glad those days are long gone. Shout out to Mason Ryan, whatever fast food establishment you work at currently.
Hopefully you're not too injured from all the steroids that you were doing, but if you are, that's your own fault.
So Mary, thank you once again for your question this week. Michael, did you like Mary's question she had for us?
I did like it, but we forgot to do something.
What's that?
We forgot to ask our listeners.
Well, who do you think was the best NXT champion of all time? Let us know in the comments.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Let us know down below. Hey, like what I did there?
Fire down below. Steven
Let us know
Seagal.
down below there in the comment section. Hibiki TMD on YouTube, on Twitter.
When I think of Mason Ryan, I think of Fire Down Below. He probably got like from Melina or somebody at the time. Or Rosa Mendez, because she's a transsexual. In our little world of WWE sex escapades, Rosa Mendez is your resident tranny whore. Sorry, Mary, that was directed at a female question, and then I just go to that. So, it's getting late in the show. We got a match of the week.
This week's match of the week on the Slam Pigs podcast comes to you from
Me.
Travis, but what is the event?
Oh. That was the shittiest drum roll since Max Weinberg and Conan O'Brien with this little weird drum style.
Sorry, take two. This week's match of the week comes to you from...
Let's take you back to Calgary, Alberta, Canada. July 1997, there was a little 10-man tag match. On one side, you had the Hart Foundation, Brett, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Davey Boy Smith, Brian Pillman, and the late Owen Hart. Well, a lot of them were the late, my bad. Against Stone Cold, Team WWE. This was against the whole Canada versus USA angle.
This was the Calgary Stampede pay-per-view.
Maybe one of the loudest crowds at that time. You had Austin, you had Gold Dust, you had Ken Shamrock, and the LOD, and it's so sad that I remember that off the top of my head, all the participants. Because that match doesn't get talked about a lot either, unless it's a Brett DVD or something.
You know what's crazy about
Did you like that Brett match?
I loved the atmosphere, and the crazy part about that is there was only about maybe 10,000 fans in that arena.
And it sounded like 30,000.
Yeah. It was one of those hometown crowds where this was a fun time back in WWE when the Hart Foundation was around. When you went across that border, it was a whole different fan base.
Border Wars.
You had the Border Wars. When you crossed into Canadian territory, the Hart Foundation was cheered like Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, yeah.
When you went to U.S. territory, the Hart Foundation was spit at, booed, thrown, like things were thrown at them. I mean, anything you could think of.
Has that ever happened before based on country in the history of wrestling? I don't think that's ever really happened to that extent.
No. Not that I can think of.
Unbelievable that they pulled it off at the time.
Yeah, I mean, unless the Rougeaus were getting a big pop in France.
But on a consistent storyline basis, to have it go that long, it could have kept going. Like the screw job, that could have carried you through WrestleMania 14 easily.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, the actual match, tremendous build-up. You actually had the whole Hart family
at ringside.
I'm talking about Georgia.
You had all the brothers and sisters.
Hey, Stu, wake up!
Yep, you had Stu and Helen there. I mean, they even let Bruce be in the match, sort of, and of course he fucked it up.
Did he have sunglasses on again?
Yes, and of course he messed up the one spot that they gave him to do in the match, which was to throw water on Steve Austin.
Oh, really? Is that from Brett's book?
He did it twice. Did you watch the match?
Yes.
He actually...
Was that in the book, though, about that?
Yeah, it was actually in the book. But Bruce, of course, was supposed to throw water on Austin and draw Austin's attention.
And
he did it too early. He hit him, but Austin ignored it, and basically you could tell Austin was pissed, like, oh, this dumbass missed the spot. Then, maybe a couple minutes later, they're back on the outside, and Bruce finally throws the water on him, and then that's the spot.
Well, if he wouldn't have those fucking sunglasses on at the time.
Maybe he could see when his cue was, but leave it
to
Bruce Hart to fuck up a spot.
Ugh.
That's why, Bruce Hart, you were never asked to be a part of the company because you're a dumbass.
Always so jealous of Brett's success.
Jesus Christ.
There is so much resentment underlying in that family. It's ridiculous. They all hate each other.
Well, Bruce's thing was, Bruce Hart always wanted to be in charge of things because Daddy let him be the booker at Stampede Wrestling. So he thought when they took... He never could understand why WWE didn't want him as a talent when they took Davey Boy, Brett, Dynamite, and all those guys.
You can just look at it.
Have you ever watched a fucking Bruce Hart match? For those of you who don't know, Bruce Hart was a terrible worker. Awful.
I like Keith. He's a fireman.
Keith was actually a decent worker.
No, I'm just saying, at that Survivor Series match with the Hart brothers, they said he's a fireman like 50 times.
Bruce was out of control in the ring. You could tell. He made shit look like a nerd got a chance in the ring for 30 seconds and he wanted to get as much stuff in as he could.
Which made him very reckless to work with. And
Absolutely.
It was just like Kevin Von Erich mainly. Just reckless. A lot of guys didn't want to work.
It would be like if they let you and me in the ring, but they only let us in for 30 seconds and they gave us 30 seconds to get everything we wanted in.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? That's what Bruce Hart looked like in the ring all the time.
He thought he was in somebody else's body when he wrestled.
It's like, hey, you got 30 seconds to get in there and get all the moves you can in. And that's what it looked like. As soon as he got in the ring, he was full speed, coming at you, doing all kinds of crap out of nowhere, not selling.
Never had a good body.
No. It looked
Never
like
good
crap.
on the mic. He sounded like his father.
Terrible haircut.
Oh. It's the AJ Styles haircut.
I mean,
He had the AJ Styles.
Bruce Hart, you weren't brought over there for a reason. You may have been a decent booker in Stampede Wrestling. You were never a decent talent. Okay?
Really, out of all the wrestling sons in Stu and Helen's little clan, Brett and Owen were the best, by far. By far.
Absolutely.
I mean, look. Open your eyes, Bruce. And I'm sure Bruce holds that resentment to this day.
Yeah.
Wasn't there heat at WrestleMania 26? Like, with all the family being involved, wasn't Bruce a ref? Or...
Not sure about that. That was post-book.
But let's get to the actual match. As far as ring work, your standard little elimination. It wasn't elimination.
It wasn't elimination.
But no bad botches. Everything paint by numbers match. Really, the match persisted of playing to the crowd.
Yeah, I remember they had 2 injuries in the match, which both guys actually came back later on in the match. First, I believe it was Austin that got hurt first. Was it Austin that got hurt first?
Yeah, and I thought it was Davey Boy. No, Owen.
Owen is the one that got hurt on the other team.
Which led to the ending.
Yeah, which was Austin.
Feud at the time.
Yeah, which was Austin and Owen in the ring. After the Bruce spot, they end up back in the ring. So one thing leads to another. Maybe a little dirty tactics from the Hart Foundation.
Little Dirty Barry.
Owen gets the roll up on Austin. 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. The crowd goes nuts. Hart Foundation wins. And that was it. It's actually, as far as ring work went, I thought everybody had a chance to shine in the match. Everybody got their turn, including Pillman, who didn't do so bad for a guy who's working on, 1 foot.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good match for what it was. The crowd definitely played to it. As far as having the crowd in the palm of your hands, that was one of those matches where it was so obvious.
Bret Hart could go out and do shadow puppets, and the crowd would go insane in that era in Canada. Especially in Calgary.
If you guys get a chance to go back and look at this, the Calgary Stampede in '97, go back and watch just the introductions on this match.
Insane. The loudest pop the Anvil ever got, that's for sure.
I think it's the loudest pop any of them ever got, including maybe Bret.
Bret at WrestleMania 10 when he pinned Yokozuna.
Yeah.
That was a great pop. That's up there with Bret pops.
I think the only one that could be excluded from that is Bret. But the rest of them, the loudest pop they've ever gotten in their life. You couldn't even hear Bret get announced. That's how loud it was.
You know it was a great classic Bret pop? At the '94 Rumble, when they weren't sure who won.
Yeah.
They were letting the crowd decide.
Yeah.
They raised Luger's hand.
Yeah.
They raised Bret's hand.
Yeah.
Great.
You can
Bret
tell
pop.
that. I think that's when Vince finally realized, hey, Luger's not gonna cut it.
He's a dud.
Yeah.
Shooting blanks with Lex Lugies. But and that was your match. Great match. After the match, the whole Hart clan came in the ring. You had a young Tyson Kidd in there, D.H. Smith, and Natalia in there also.
Yeah.
You can see
they
them
were
on
in the
tape.
crowd. Guys, if you haven't got a chance to watch this match and you have the network or maybe you have some kind of resource to watch this match, watch it.
You need to get on it.
Let us know what you thought about this match down
If
in the
you can
comment
sit
section.
through things currently like the shining stars on your television, you can make it through this.
This was one of the most. I think this would probably be the most, I guess, exciting 10-man tag match you're ever going to see in your life.
Oh yeah.
Just from crowd response. You hear about loud pops today, and they really don't compare to pops like you had in this match, like you had for Stone Cold, like you had for certain people in certain times. This was one of those times when the crowd was absolutely invested in what they were coming to see. So guys, if you get a chance, watch this match. At least watch the introduction to this match. If you can't watch the match, if you don't have the time, listen to these pops. If you can't get into this match and how passionate the crowd was this match, I don't know what you can get into in wrestling. But besides that, not much to say.
So how'd I do?
I thought it was a great match. I thought it was a good pick.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, I liked it.
Like an RKO.
Yeah, I liked the pick.
How was your match of the week?
Another great match that nobody ever talks about.
Yeah. Shame.
But
well, that leads us into this Sunday. Extreme Rules, Michael. We did our predictions, but that's the next time we're going to be joining you. Are we doing the post show for this one? Are you going to make it, or you got?
I should be able to make it. If not, we'll do it the next night. Maybe
good.
Maybe do the post show review plus Raw.
We'll see. Well,
see
if
where
we're doing
we're
it on
at.
Monday, we do that during Raw usually.
I should be able to make it here for the post show.
But we can talk. We can recap it if.
Yeah. Well, we should be able to watch the pay per view here and then do the post show. As far as my schedule right now.
And guys, like we said, 2 shows in a week. We feel like we owed it to you a little bit, a little lackluster slacking, but
Yeah.
real life happened. So we're glad to be back here.
Hey,
on
if
a
we do the
consistent
post show
basis.
this week, that's 3 shows.
That's
one
3
week.
shows in a week. That is.
We're not even getting paid for this.
We're getting paid with memories.
I guess.
I don't know though.
Guys, if you want to send donations,
Yeah. Michael's address is.
just messing with you guys.
It really sucks for Michael. Bring it off topic a little bit. His mailbox is like all the way down the road, like halfway down the road.
Yeah, I moved.
Mine's on my porch.
I moved recently, a little over a month ago, and my mailbox is like a half mile down the road. So it kind of sucks to go get my mail. But we don't do this for the money anyway, guys. We do this for you.
I'm going to bring it back. And I'm going to deliver. See where I went with that? The mail. Deliver. Some good news, like I said on the last show. In the month of June, big things are happening. We're going international, baby. We're going to jolly old England with our boy Lee, AMV Dark Angel. We're going to have Frost back on, hopefully. He was actually going to try to come on tonight, but it was so spontaneous he had to work. So we're going to have some 3-man booths going on, like good old WCW.
Oh, I'm going to be on the show this time when you're having these guests.
Yeah, you're not going to cancel on me.
Oh, all right.
So.
I wasn't. No, I believe I was canceled on that evening when you had Frost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't feeling well, but then you magically felt well enough to have Frost.
Well, I had forgotten that previous engagements it was supposed to be a WCW 3-man.
Sounded like you felt fine.
I didn't feel that great. I struggled through that
Just
show.
giving Travis shit, guys.
I think that show was like 34 minutes.
I think he didn't have me on the show because I'm a bit of an antagonist. And
well, we're going to see how that goes when we have Lee on. Frost is going to be back, and you can get your glory in.
Hey, guys, I'm going to ask you some tough questions. Might say some things that make you a little angry. Just going to test you a little bit. See if you belong on the show.
What are you doing?
Hey, we get each other riled up on the show. Why can't I get guests riled up?
I don't remember hitting promo break. I heard a heel promo breakout.
I'm just saying. Hey, every great show has an antagonist on it. Okay? I'm that guy.
Just letting you know what you're stepping into, guys.
Just letting you guys know I'm going to ask tough questions. You can feel free to ask them back. We can have a little battle of wits if you like, but
we can do it all.
Whether you like it or not, this show is going to be entertaining when you guys are on it. Whether I have to make it that way by asking the tough questions or whether you're going to actually be entertaining, that's how we're going to do it. That's why I'm the least liked host on this show. So,
and I'm going to come in Harley race style and break your fucking ankles.
That's why Travis is the likable one. I'm the not so much one, but you need us both for this show to work.
Do you have to do another poll? You think you've redeemed yourself?
After that comment, I'm probably sure I haven't.
You'll be in the negatives.
But that's fine. I am who I am. I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to ask
we
the
don't
tough
pull
questions.
punches on this show at all.
I definitely don't. So.
You sound like you have some hostility been up. Did anybody do anything? Or
Nope. Nobody's done a thing. But I feel like for every great show and for every great podcast, you have to have that good babyface host. Which is you.
Got to have a Bobby, and you got to have a gorilla.
Yep, you're the gorilla, I'm the Bobby. I'm going to ask the toughies.
You got to have a Roddy Piper with him or something.
Which is another babyface slash...
I didn't like Piper on commentary.
Yeah, I thought...
Boobsy?
Yeah, I thought he was just way too loud.
Or, you know who else I didn't like was, I was going to say Jesse. I don't know where I'm going. Randy Savage. I did not like Randy Savage on commentary. Oh my God, that's just... Some of the things he said was just bad.
He's got the chloroform.
That's chloroform, man. That can kill a man.
Well,
I know who your favorite announcer was. Yeah, I have to say it.
Rob Bartlett.
Yeah.
Really?
Who's on the inside? Rob Bartlett.
Rob Bartlett. Probably.
If you remember Rob Bartlett, please like this video. I'm sorry, like this podcast. Comment on Rob Bartlett if you know who he is.
Oh God. First season of Raw in early '93.
We'll
tell him who it was. It was a shitty announcer who had no business being there. He was some shitty radio DJ, and the worst besides the guy from King of the Ring '94, Art Donovan.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
He must be 7 feet tall.
He is 7 feet tall, Art Donovan.
God. Randy Savage had to correct Art Donovan at least like 12 times. Jesus Christ. And then he'd mix up like Diesel or somebody with like Anvil or something. It was bad. Oh.
Bobby Heenan's out. Who's in? Rob Bartlett. That's who.
Oh.
And everybody goes, who the fuck is Rob Bartlett? And then you hear him talk, and you're like, oh.
Rob Bartlett was so... Well, my dog's starting to whine in the background.
Yep, don't mind the dog.
Shut up.
Probably ready for a shit.
No, it's because we started talking about Rob Bartlett, so the dog knows, senses. Yeah, I hear you, bud.
Yeah, I understand your pain.
Well, that's a good cue to take it home with the dog whimpering in the background.
Hey, guys.
Thank you for joining me again, Michael, and we'll see you Extreme Rules Sunday or the following Monday.
Ready to go.
Have a good one.
Yep, you too.
Sign off.
Hey, guys. Thanks again for coming in on the show. Like me or hate me, I appreciate you guys listening.
Nobody hates you.
Well, if you may not like my comments, you may not like what I say, but that's why I'm on here. I'm controversial.
We all hate Rob Bartlett.
We all hate Rob Bartlett. You guys...
I said Rob Bartlett and the dog started barking.
Oh, yeah. Every time we say Rob Bartlett, that dog gets fired up.
The Slam Pigs Podcast.
Hey guys. guys, you can follow me on Twitter at the HibickyTMD. Check out the HibickyTMD Facebook group for everything retro gaming, pro wrestling podcasts, and everything in between. Thanks for watching another video, and thanks for stopping by on HibickyTMD.
Hey, what is going on here?